They say your first home is meant to be a sanctuary, but mine was different. It's a quiet apartment, priced far below anything else in the area. The previous owner was eager to sell, hoping to downsize quickly. The paperwork moved faster than expected, and before we had time to second-guess ourselves, we were holding the keys to our first home. Every dime we had went into that purchase. There was no budget left for renovations, so we kept things modest. Within days, we were living there. At first, nothing seemed out of place. Then, the nights began to change. I had always been a deep sleeper, the kind who could fall asleep anywhere and stay that way until morning. But in that apartment, sleep became elusive. Night after night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, counting the slow passing of hours. At first, I treated it as ordinary stress, moving into a new place. But the unease didn't fade. Instead, it thickened. As the weeks passed, a quiet dread began to settle in my chest every evening. It arrived the moment the apartment grew still, when outside sounds faded and the rooms seemed to listen. I couldn't explain it, but fear would coil tightly around my ribs, making it hard to breathe. Soon, I began to sense something lingering near the bedroom door. There was never a shape, never a sound. Just the certainty that something stood there, watching. I tried to dismiss it as imagination, but the feeling grew stronger each night. Eventually, I could only fall asleep if I pressed myself against my husband's side, his warmth the only thing that made the darkness feel survivable. The breaking point came that winter. My parents came to visit, staying with us for a few nights. They had never approved of my marriage, though they tolerated it for my sake. On the second night, tensions resurfaced. A disagreement escalated into raised voices, old resentments spilling out into the open. Something inside me snapped. Before I knew it, I was sobbing, screaming in total hysteria. The cries that escaped my lips were foreign, distorted. The panic in my mother's face was evident as she rushed toward me, pleading for me to stop. That night, after the episode passed, I told her everything. The fear, the sleeplessness, the constant feeling of being watched. She listened carefully, then made a firm decision. I would not be staying there any longer. I left the apartment with them and returned to my hometown. There, my mother took me to see an elderly woman, someone rumored to perceive things others could not. The elderly received us in a dim room filled with the sharp scent of burning sage. Candles flickered softly, casting long shadows across the walls. After hearing my story, she asked for the address of my apartment. She took my hands and closed her eyes. The candle flames nearby began to tremble, bending unnaturally as if pushed by an unseen current. Her face tightened, the lines around her mouth deepening. What she described sent a chill through me. According to her, a young man had died violently in that apartment. The death had been sudden, brutal, and unresolved. His spirit, unwilling or unable to move on, had remained there, angry, confused, and bound to the place where his life ended. The elderly woman explained that his spirit had attached itself to my presence. The intention was not companionship, but possession. a desire to pull someone else into the same fate. She urged me to reflect on recent events, moments when my life might have nearly ended. A memory surfaced immediately. During a business trip, I had been crossing a busy downtown street. The light had turned green, and I stepped forward without hesitation. Everything seemed normal until a truck appeared out of nowhere, speeding toward me. At the last possible moment, a colleague grabbed my arm and yanked me backward. The truck passed inches from where I had been standing. Had my colleague been a second later, I would have died. When I shared the memory, the elderly's reaction was grim. She believed the incident was deliberate. The spirit had tried and failed, and according to her, it would either try again or keep tormenting me until I broke down. She went on to explain that some spirits suffer so deeply at the moment of death that their pain warps into rage. They refuse to leave. They lash out. They seek to drag others into their misery simply to feel less alone. As for my husband, she believed his will was too strong. His energy, as she described it, was too grounded, too resistant. I, on the other hand, was sensitive, open in ways I hadn't understood until then. She said my apartment needed a cleansing ritual. That night, the elderly woman came to the apartment. She brought sage, a white candle, and prayers murmured under her breath as she prepared the space. Smoke curled through the rooms as she moved methodically, her chanting steady but urgent. The candle flame writhed violently, stretching and shrinking as if struggling against something unseen. Shadows clung stubbornly to the corners of the room. Then the temperature dropped. A cold, unlike anything I had felt before, settled deep into my chest, heavy and suffocating. It pressed inward, as if something were resisting, refusing to be displaced. The chanting grew stronger. Suddenly, a violent gust tore through the apartment, rattling objects and nearly extinguishing the candle. And then, everything stopped. The air shifted. The weight lifted. The cold dissolved, leaving behind an unfamiliar stillness. The elderly confirmed that the presence was gone, though she warned that precautions were necessary. Before leaving, she placed a small pendant in my hand, a protective charm meant to be kept close. In the weeks that followed, the dread was clearly gone. Sleep returned. The nights grew quiet again. Years later, when we finally sold the apartment, I was surprised by what I felt. Not relief, but a strange sense of nostalgia. After everything we had endured, the place had grown on me. It felt as though we had survived something together, as if the apartment and I had bonded. With the cleansing done, the new owners will have a less dramatic experience. And I hope that departed spirit finds his peace as well.
If this story resonates with you, consider subscribing for more like it. Thank you.